The Ash Lutzi and Nikki Osborne podcast.
David Crisafulli, our Premier, is out this morning spruiking awareness around the cyclone, which is scheduled to hit later this week, asking literally that we get our houses in order. But exactly what is going on and what the forecast is, we're going to speak to Jeff from Higgins Storm Chasing, because the last we heard is that it's scheduled to cross our coastline on Thursday at some stage. There's huge swells, gale force winds predicted. Morning, Jeff. Thanks for having a chat to us, mate.
Good morning, Jeff.
What is the latest?
Okay, yeah, well, he actually just increased to a Category 2 again off the coast of Brisbane. So we've seen some strengthening overnight, which is not ideal, and it's not good news for South East Queensland.
Where is it at the moment? Where is it at the moment? It's off Rocky, off Bundaberg, around there, scheduled to track south and then push west?
He's well further down this morning. He's about 450 kilometres east of Brisbane, or northeast of Brisbane. We do expect a little bit further southeasterly movement today and tomorrow, which sort of puts him in line due east of Brisbane, but a little bit further out. And then all the data at the moment is just locked on that he's going to hook into the west and cross the coast between about the Sunshine Coast and Brisbane at this stage.
Now,
Thursday to Friday. But, you know, with these systems, as we get closer in time, say another day or two, all the data really refine much better, and you can really hone in on exactly where and the time.
right. So, Jeff, a question I have for you is, because I live on the coast, up the Sunshine Coast, it's already quite the mess. All the beaches are closed. There's red tape everywhere. Bribey Island, the tip's covered in water. I have a boat ramp. The tide's already inundated a lot further than it has before. What would the prevailing wind be if Alfred were to hit?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it is a mess up there. We've seen some photos and videos yesterday of South Bribey, the breakthrough, and it's destroying that part which protects Golden Beach, as you know, and the passage. So that's going to become quite a problem, I believe. This swell is already in place, and the high tide, an extra high tides above normal tide are already there, and they're expected to continue all week and progressively get worse as the system crosses. Now, typically, obviously, the winds on the system rotate clockwise. Mm-hmm. So wherever the centre is, if you draw a line out to the centre of the system, anything through the middle and on the southern side, all the southern side gets the onshore winds and swell, and it really piles it up. We've got some predictions there of 5 to 7 metre swell with waves in excess of 10 metres, 30 feet.
Wow.
Those huge waves would be just offshore, but it doesn't matter. It's still, you can imagine what that's doing on the beach. So we're looking at huge erosion and damage. And then as the system gets nearer on Thursday, and actually some of the data this morning's just put a fair bit of the crossing now on Friday morning. Doesn't matter either way. It's Thursday or Friday at this stage. As he crosses, there's a lot of inundation that could occur for low-lying areas. So, those streets that go nearly under on king tides, all your parks and your foreshores, with all this water that piles up on the winds and having those big swells hitting the beaches, there's going to be some inundation around, but just a lot of damage.
So it's going to all come up through the storm drains in reverse and cover the low-lying roads.
Yep. Yep, and we've seen it before with East Coast lows. This thing's named a cyclone and all of that sort of stuff, which is fair, but don't focus on whether it's a cyclone or not, or exactly where it's going to cross. It's more about this thing's going to have a pretty wide, severe impact, anywhere from the Sunshine Coast down to Coffs Harbour, New South Wales at this stage. So that's all of South East Coast of Queensland. That's our major population centres: Gold Coast, Brisbane, Ipswich, Sunshine Coast. And then some heavy rain and stuff extends well inland to Toowoomba, Warwick. I'm out at Warwick now, out here as well.
And how long do you think this cell could last for? Like, but people hearing this now will be going out to the shops and getting, supplies, water, some food to get you through the weekend. How long do you think we should be preparing to, have power outages and kind of bunker down?
Yeah, I think most people's power will be okay.
Yep.
It's the people up in the hills, hinterland or power lines with the biggest thing will be trees coming down on power lines. And I think the same for your house. Most people's houses could withstand 150k winds, okay? Garden sheds might go tumbling. There's going to be a lot of trampolines flying around Brisbane, I think. But
that's always the first to go. We actually flipped ours last night, so it's down, face down.
Good idea.
Yeah.
All the loose items need to be tied down before, say, Wednesday, because even from Wednesday, things are going really blowy. I think
so, Jeff,
Thursday. Yep. Sorry.
Just to circle back on what you said earlier, like to help, we'll get a greater understanding. I think you said a day out or whatever. Like, so when do you think we should be is the most critical moment to go? Okay, when will we exactly know that it's going to hit or where it's going to hit? Like a day out? Are you saying Wednesday morning we've got to start taking notice of our reports and the news and things like that to specifically locked in where this is going to hit and how damaging the impact's going to be?
Yep. From now, I'll pitch it at 95% chance of crossing the coast Thursday or Friday. All the data is just locked in. So
and just real quickly, Jeff, that Cat 2, like you mentioned, it's a Cat 2. Yep. So what can we expect? If I look at my weather app, I just chucked in Point Lookout for the weekend. It goes on colours. Green is calm. It goes up to blue. Yep. It's actually predicting orange. I didn't even know it went to orange. I've never seen that before. So what winds are we predicting?
So 150k gusts at this stage, which is a high Category 2 on crossing. That means coastal parts, Sunshine Coast, Brisbane, Gold Coast, are really going to get hammered with wind. Now, we have some pretty big issues with rainfall as well. Lots of places are likely to get 300 millimetres, but peak totals could be as high as 800 mil in 2 days.
Wow.
Okay, so flooding. Big issue with flooding. People are going to have to be really careful as to not to drive into floodwaters. And, look, I think we may even see school closures, to be honest with you.
Okay.
It's going to be really ugly.
They'll call off footy trainer, Jeff. They always do. They always do, mate. Hey, we better leave it there, but we might stay in touch with you during the week so we can keep people as up to date and prepared as possible.
Yeah.
But appreciate your time this morning. Jeff from Higgins Storm Chasers. We'll talk to you later in the week.
Cheers, mate.
I love the way he sounds like he's blowing away.
The Ash, Lutzi and Nikki Osborne podcast.